We are here with legendary and worldwide entrepreneur Gus Mello, who's also the owner of Hele Fitness here, which we're at their warehouse in Kaneohe. Gus has 6 businesses, multiple of them in Brazil and also in the United States. And yeah, we're here at one of his businesses right now, and we just helped him get some financing. I believe there's some lines of credit.
Yep.
And I actually prepared some questions today to kind of go over more of what is the entrepreneur's mind, right? Because you've been an entrepreneur for so long, you own all these different businesses, like you have to juggle all these things and a family and church. So just wanted to talk about that today.
100%. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Love it.
So I know with Hele, you guys, you started out just as a startup,
Yep.
right? And then you got to like 7 figures and beyond. How, like, tell me about the shift that you guys had to make, and like, when did you have to shift from like being just you guys doing it? Because you started with like 3 partners, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's just you guys, and then like, when did you make that shift into more systems and like employees and all that? Like,
We continue doing it.
Yeah.
But looking really back how we started, right? Like it was really small, just the dream of helping people here in the island, right? Helping families to be able to connect with their kids and their spouses, like having equipment to do so. So it was really like the backbone of the business back then, right? We started in 2015. That's kind of like when we start moving the paperwork and try to understand better like how to bring those items. It was also around the same time was my first trip overseas to search for manufacturers and all that part, right? So it was a big journey, right? And we had so many shifts through that time, especially with the pandemic, where like the business, the year prior to that, we ended up getting the fastest growing business in Hawaii. So we took first place prior to COVID. So it's kind of like we got on the map and then COVID happened and just like really accelerate everything.
Yeah. And you guys blew up during COVID.
Yeah.
That's actually when I found your company.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think like some influencer or whatever. All these people were posting about this Hele Fitness.
Yeah. I think like during the pandemic, it was definitely a different scenario, right? Nobody was ready for it. Right. And so that shifts so much into the structure, right? How much space we have, how we ordering all those items, how long it's going to take to get here. Because at the same time we blew, pretty much any fitness company blew at the same time, right? But we're like the local ones, we're like the brand from Hawaii, right? The other 2 partners are born and raised here, Hawaiian blood and all that. I'm the only international one, right, from Brazil. But it's kind of a good mix, right, between the strengths on the partners. You know, everything shift through that period and after that too. The structure, how we organizing the company, right? And right now we're going through like a new structure too, right?
Yeah.
Restructure one more time, right? So I think like having business, you have to be super flexible and evolving. Right, understanding that the entrepreneur that I was 10 years ago, right, even though that I had a couple business before that, working for big corporations before that too, it's not the same that I am today. The new business that I end up opening through different fields inside of this fitness atmosphere, we have a couple companies too. So it's really like changing, like being flexible, really trying to like invest more and more on yourself as a person, as a husband, you know, and all the other aspects of who we are. And I think like with my partners, like they also changed, right? So
I know you guys are kind of going through like a transitional period with ownership changing around, dynamics changing around there.
Correct, yeah.
Like, were you prepared for that in any way? Like, can you prepare for that?
I think we could do a better job, because you never know what's happening like 10 years from when you signed the first operating agreement, right? So if I can give you any suggestion for anybody out there to really focus on the operating agreement when you first open the business, right? And first, like, you're like all in love with the business between each other, right? Like all the partners.
Everything's all good.
But also like you always have to think about the exit, right? What the business strategy is for the exiting of a partner or even like selling the business as well. I think we're seeing more and more, it's getting more common now, the business being bought from a larger corporation, or you want to move on and do something else and you be able to sell your shares. So it's a lot of that. And I think sometimes we're just so excited to get the business running, right? It's really hard to stop and say, hey, let's focus a little bit on this. And it's probably a lot of good people out there too that can help, right? Navigate that, right? Make sure you do find a good lawyer to do the operating agreement for the company as well, right? Understanding if one of the partners wanted to step down, say, hey, I found another opportunity. I don't have time for this anymore. How that works, right? Or if somebody...
like having a clear path, I guess, like if this happens, then this is gonna be the way that it goes.
Yes. Yeah.
So if you're
pretty much
exit,
step by step.
Yeah.
I think it's very important to everybody to, because we never know what's gonna happen, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you're gonna have to move, or maybe something issues with one of the partners' health, or even one of the family partners' health, right? So it's a lot of things that can happen. But if you try to discuss like 5 years down the line, it gets much harder. Right. Not that you can't change the operating agreement, you can get on a new agreement, let's say. But I think if you start in a really good way, everybody understanding like how we're gonna move if XYZ happens, I think it's just expedite all the decisions, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess you never really know what's going to happen. So you almost need to kind of prepare, or like, I guess maybe plan for craziness to happen. And hopefully it doesn't. But at least you know that you're covered, and you'll be at peace basically if and when that happens.
And you never know. Then that's why it's kind of like the insurance. You have it, it's a safety net. Hopefully you never have to use it, but if you do, it's there. Right. So I see now more and more the operating agreement has to be similar to that idea. And then getting a good lawyer that can guide you, through that process of starting the business, starting the right way, put the fine lines in there now that everybody agrees with. And then it's definitely going to have changes, but it's small changes as everybody look at the same way clearly. I think it's very important.
Now, with Hele specifically, you guys were, during COVID, you guys were doing a lot of retail, home gyms and stuff like that. I know talking with you in the last couple of years, it's been moving more towards schools and apartments and stuff like that. Bigger facilities and with bigger jobs become different problems. So I guess talk to that. How is it working with the bigger transactions? Is it worth the squeeze? And then also, what are the challenges that come with something like that?
Totally. So one of the things that happened to us, we identify the market, it's bigger than just what Hele started to provide on the first few years, right? We definitely start focusing more and more on the beginning for functional fitness, not much to the traditional with the pin load or the plate load and treadmills and all that. And we start seeing hey, Hele can grow past just the functional, right? And that's what we work towards to. With that transition or that addition to the line, new opportunities start to open up, right? Military, as you said, developers, putting in fancy buildings or hotels and all those things. With that is a different dynamic. Before it was more B2C, where the final customers are getting to the website, super quick purchase. I believe we did such a good job because they keep repeating, coming back, right? The average client came back 3 to 4 times on our website.
On the retail side?
On the retail side.
Oh, wow.
To buy, right? Where we didn't know. It was hey, maybe the person's going to buy a plate in a bar. And then that's it. But no, they keep coming back because we also grew the line, right? That was the first challenge we had. How can we grow the line with our own capital? Without going debt, or without utilizing third-party money, right? And for many years, we actually were able to do it. We invest ourselves, between the partners and all that. We guided pretty well. And having the stock in Hawaii also helped accelerating the business, right? But then we got on the point where we're okay, maybe we should start shifting a little bit because of the new opportunities. When we get, for example, the DOE, Department of Education, so if we outfit like an entire gym for them, so we need to get the whole equipment, and then we go into the installation. That was one of the other businesses we open, that we can deliver, install, repair, maintain, right? So it's a secondary, like a sister company of Hele. But with that, we have to pay all the employees to do all the installation.
100%.
And then you invoice, and then like how long is it going to take for you to get
60,
paid?
90 days,
Yeah, can be like 90 days, right?
Yeah.
So how do you do all those changes so quick and don't miss the opportunities, right? Then you start to understanding like partners like you guys could help us out to find the right banking, right? To find the right opportunity, what it fits the best for us, what the strategy that we need to do moving forward on the financial side, right? So I think that's the changes, but like each business there have their own switch, right? For us, we had like a couple big jumps. One was during pandemic, and the second one is really like working more and more towards B2B now. Right? Where like the gap between us putting up front so much money and then waiting for this 120 days, and we still have to put it like also to bring the items in. Right. So we have even a longer time. So my production can go from 30 to 60 days, another 30 days to get here, and then we deliver, install, and then you get paid. So we're looking into like 5-6 months, and that can really, it's a big.
That's very hard on cash flow.
Very hard on cash flow.
Yeah, that's definitely where credit would. Credit is definitely the answer. Credit lines.
And I think like bringing the credit, right, for also the partners to understand things like when we talk, you say, Gus, let's move these things from your own debt to your company, right? From one of your companies, and how you make that transition to make sure like your credit's always good for when you need extra money for any of the business, you'll be able to get it because your credit, it's very
I mean that's
very on point, right?
That kind of reminds me of your point with like having the operating agreement and the insurance. Like you're doing the work before the emergency happens.
Yes.
So if you have the good credit already in place and you've set the right foundation earlier, when you have the opportunity or the emergency comes along, it's not so bad because you're already in a good position.
100%
with the credit.
One thing that I see, that we have a lot of friends that owns companies, right? The ones that really do really good, the ones like someone in there, right? But one thing that we see is like on the beginning, it's more like a startup mode. You put so many hats every day, right? And it's really hard for you to grasp what's the most important. Right? What is the most important right now? And a lot of times we look at it as like everything is important. But when everything is important, nothing's important, right?
Exactly.
So thinking that way, I think the financial side is such a big part of the business, right? The structure of it. How do you move forward to when the opportunities come, you're not going to miss it. Because you're trying to build this entire ecosystem, but then sometimes you overseas like a little bit like maybe your own credit, right? Because you're so busy doing other things, right? Life happens and all that. But because you did that, when the opportunity comes, then you try to get extra cash flow to be able to bring your business to the next level, and then you miss the opportunity, right? So yeah, I think now more and more it's like becomes like some, clear to when people ask me, it's like, what we should focus on. I think this is one of the big points that I think people really should focus. How to set yourself for when the opportunity come, you be prepared and ready for it, right? So not missing the grind, because the day-to-day, it's real. It's always going to be there. Always going to be there. The fire is always going to be happening. You're always going to need to give more and more attention to the day-to-day, but the structure of it, if it's not there, it just becomes like this chaotic, I have to do everything, and then I don't have money to hire more people. What comes first, the egg or the chicken? It's like,
I've really had to prioritize
Yeah.
time because it's super easy to just wake up and it's like, oh man, I got all these text messages and emails that I have to respond to. Like you're in reactionary mode.
Yeah.
But what I've had to learn, like especially the last year or so, is to designate space on my calendar for just, this is like working on business time. And then, you know, like we use EOS, so it's like, this is the time that I'm going to attack my rock or some big project type of thing. And I'm going to hack away at that for 30 minutes to an hour, whatever it's going to be. But if I don't schedule it, it's not going to happen. And then I'm just reacting all day, you know, to whatever's happening.
Because, as an entrepreneur, like you wake up, you know, for me that I work in 3 time zones, it's kind of like I wake up at 6 in the morning, I have like 30 text messages and like
not even 3,
10 emails, like, you know, it's like crazy.
For you, it's like China here,
in South America,
Brazil, I don't know, like mainland. I'm
mainland time,
something.
But the big ones are like 3 time zones, right? So if you're not really careful, everybody wants your attention, right? Everybody wants to know like what your thoughts are and so many things. And then, the structure, like the US, it's a great system to have, to implement. I think like focus on the rocks are super important, right? But also train your team to be able to think the same way. So any system that you maybe going to implement, you really needs to make sure like the whole team is on board. Everybody understands exactly what that new system is going to look like for the priorities to be a priority for everybody. Yeah. Right? Yeah. If not, like I could not be on the reactive mode, but then if my integrator is, or like the VP is just always like on that mode, nothing's going to get done, right? You're not going to improve anything on certain areas of the business. So I think it's very important to be on the same page.
I think you hit it on the head.
Yeah.
So when it comes to entrepreneurs, business owners, what do you think some of the, like when somebody has an issue, right? What do you think that usually comes down to? Is it usually like a money thing or is it something else?
That's a very complex, complex question. But every time I see issues like on the companies that I take different positions in different companies, but like especially for Hele as a CEO, right? I always have to look into myself first. Is it I am managing this the way you're supposed to be managed, right? Is the vision clear to everybody? So you start to kind of like really asking all those questions, right? And then if you really see it's like, oh, okay, it is a cash flow. Right?
Sometimes I mean, it depends on the situation, but
But you create the issue too. Think about it, right? Sometimes could be overload in equipment. As you can see here, like we're overcapacitated. Is it like an action that was decided to order more XYZ for a certain period of time because of a scenario? Like as we work with overseas, in February, they take 2 weeks to a month off. So we need to stock to be able to have that 3 months of problems of like they're going to delay, or maybe it's not going to be done on time to be able to ship before their holiday. It's so many different things, right? But you end up creating your own problems with cash flow. We had the choice of like, hey, we're moving to more towards B2B. We wanted to get those contracts. So it's like, okay, what did I do prior to be able to be ready for that? If my whole line of equipment, it's 100%, my salespeople are 100% ready to go. Okay, but what about the cash flow now? Right? What about like the terms? Not everybody have the same terms, right? If you sell to the hotel, it's different.
You gotta negotiate.
If you sell to maybe a new gym that's opening up on the islands, it's a different negotiation. But I'm preparing to foreseeing like this cash flow and how much we're talking about. If 1 month I sell 1 and next month I sell 10, I'll fit in 10 gyms. It's like, what that looks like. And do I have the leverage for it, right? Can I really take those clients in? So it's a lot of that. But I think like first, I always ask myself, like, am I doing the right thing? I'm going towards the plan that I drew. Is the team aligned to it? Is our product or service also in alignment? And if all those points are on point, then it's clear, like, okay, we just need more cash. So if you need more cash, but then you already put everything in place, so the risk goes really low. The problem is when you borrow more money and the systems are not in place, or you're not clear about the vision or what you're doing with it, right? If I borrow 50K and I threw everything on social media, I don't know, it's just like marketing, 50K. Okay, great. Now I get all this influx of clients. What do we do with it?
Yeah.
Right? Or you get the 50K you threw on the marketing and then just vaporize.
Yeah.
Then you didn't get the clients that you want to. So what that feels like, you know, so you really need to be smart about like, where should I put it? How the systems internally looks like right now to be able to take the next step with low risk as possible, right? So it's always like that.
Sounds like you
mentality of.
What it sounds like to me is like you do a lot of prep work.
You got to
when you're thinking about your moves. Like you're, at least now, you're being pretty intentional with like what direction are you going and like with the different businesses. So I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I guess a little bit unrelated question, but like, so we met through a church, I think at some point, or like mutual friends and stuff. We've crossed paths at different churches and stuff, but what role does faith play with your businesses and like how you run things?
I think it's the playing so many fronts, right? Without bringing too much of the religion on it. I think it's like the first thing the faith does it's on ourselves, right? Integrity, how you run things, how you talk to people, how to interact, what the service you provide. Are you backing up what do you say for what do you do? Is it equipment? Is it a service side? All right. I think that part has to also be communicated with the people that work with us, no matter what the beliefs are, right? So it's goals and metrics and way of doing things. That's very important, I think, right? Because the clients, they will give the feedback always. Can be the service, the product, or the customer service. How they got there? How's the package? Is it the package good? When they open up, is like a all effect or not, right? So I think all those small details, it really shows who you are, what you stand for, right? And then on the personal side, then it goes like, okay, what I do with the business that God gave it to me, right? How I'm storing all that, how I'm storing the money, how I store the relationships inside the business, right? Is it with the partners? Is it with the employees? Is it with the clients? So like all those things I think plays a lot with the faith factory, right? That factor is like really important. And the second one's also like, I think when we have faith and we know who's in control, it's very clear, became more clear to me that I have to do what is my part, but his part, he's going to do it. So I can have the best product on the world, the best service. If he doesn't send the clients, I don't get any contracts. So I do everything I can, but not with the burden of like, it's my responsibility to really bring the client. Right? My hope and pray is just like, he will send the right clients to work with us because they're supposed to be our clients, right?
You're working with him.
Working with him through that process, right? And I think he plays a lot when you play the leadership role. But it's not just a leadership role. I also need to think about like, who's the face and who's interacting with my clients, right? Do they share the same values even if they don't share the same faith, right? So I think like a lot of that play, because at the end of the day, our name's on the line, our family's on the line, right? And I think the legacy too, right? We're building this, we don't know what's going to happen, where God's going to bring like down the line, but right now we're in 4 countries. So it's growing, right? It's getting out there. So it's very important, the message that we carry. Right? Is it a message about the lifestyle that we live on the island? What are the values here? What ohana means, right? What being pono with somebody really is. So I think like it's not that tourist kind of propaganda like the people do. It's really like how we show the values that we have because the faith that we do have, right? But also respecting the whole process of getting our voice out there, people understanding what like, you know, the Hawaiian culture is about, right? And speaking all that with truth and with respect and value the people that came before us. We always talking about the Nakoa, the warrior, right? The warrior spirit. What that really is on a modern life? Why do I have to really train to fight for my family? Do I have to train here? Do I have to train the body, right? How I respect all that for us as a Christian, that we believe is God gave us a temple, right? And he utilized us for his ministry, for what he wants to do in the world. So it's one point of view, but at the same time, I try to connect all those points to be able to deliver the best I can in every front that I have, and different fronts at the moment.
Yeah.
But, you know, where I can influence and really bring that voice, and that's really important for me to like speak the truth to our clients and to our team, I will do so. Right.
Okay.
Yeah. One thing I think is like very important too, the stepping faith when we talk about finances, right? This is like like for me, I talk to God and say like, hey, this is the right path, right? Is it the right thing for me to do with this business? And I do need more cash, and we're good. Like, you know, on the same page that I'm going to borrow cash and then I'm going to need clients.
Yeah.
So
check it.
I think we need to check it, right?
Yeah.
And some people internally check, like whatever the case is, I'm sharing like my experience, but for me it's the same thing. Like I think I can become more brave.
Yeah.
Right? I can step more in faith in different aspects of my life. Are we growing the business? No, we're stepping back. We gotta do this and that before we go forward. Whatever that is, but to really have more courage to speak and to act
100%.
because of the experience that we had with the Lord.
I've had that similar experience recently too, because we've been spending a lot of money with systems and, you know, building up our marketing and this and that, and it's significant investments, you know, but when I check in, when I ask, it's like, yes, like this is, go ahead and do this. So it's like, you know that it's blessed, or like, you know that it's going to work out, and it might not be to the way that I think that it's going to work exactly, but I don't know. I just have peace when I do it. It's like, okay, spending a bunch of money, like, it's cool. Yeah. Because I already know it's going to be good.
Yep.
And
I think that's like exactly how
it's a different love. There's no anxiety behind it. Whereas I could see if I didn't have that, then there would be questions of like, ooh, is this really going to work out? Or, you know, how are we going to get the money back and stuff like that? It's just like, I already know, you know, like we're good. I think it can be just here, it has to be here too. Yeah. Right. So you have to like feel it. You can't just think it or say it. And if you feel in peace that you're going to move forward, you know, he's watching for you, and then the day is going to be okay. Doesn't mean it's not going to be hard. Right. There's going to be challenges regardless. You have to like go through that valley to get to the mountaintop for sure. All right. So switching up a bit, like what is the biggest lie about entrepreneurship? That you're going to relax on a beach where the business is running. Like, you know, I think that's one of them. It's like, oh, have your own business instead of like working for other people. And the people was like, yeah, I'm going to have more freedom and all that. We're going to have to build first. Don't forget about that part, right? So if you build with intention to have that type of life, and knowing that you're going to have to go through so much to be able to get there, I think is the clear vision, right? And so like you fighting to be on that place. I am fighting right now to be able to spend more time with my family. Yeah. Right? But then something happens on the business, you have to sit with the family again and say, hey, you know what? We're going to have to readjust the next few months. Here's my schedule from 7 in the morning to 11 and what are you going to do, right? So you stop in between, so it's like, okay, let's have dinner together. Let's help to put them in bed, and then you go back to it. There's no other way around. What are you going to do, right? You're going to let it crash? So knowing that you're taking the risks yourself, where like when you work with the employee,
it's 8 to 5. You clock out. It's like
there's no clocking out. It's 24.
On this one, I think I'm learning more and more to respect my time.
Yeah.
Right. And I think like the US, for example, that we're talking about, one of the systems, it's like, okay, how I can manage my time better.
Yeah.
What are the rocks that I really need to go for it? So if I accomplish one today or one this week, whatever, one this week, I'll be happy.
That's a win.
And I'm moving the business forward. I'm moving the needle, right? So I think the clarity on that part, same thing. Again, it's like when everything is important, nothing is important. So you really need to identify what it matters really for this next 90 days, what it matters for this month, what's matter for this week, what really matters for today. Because if you're not, it's just like it's filling the pot with the water and then, or the sand, and nothing else is going to fit in.
Yes.
Right? So it's always like just noise and being busy and not productive. Then you're not having time or patience for the family and for the kiddos and even for yourself. Yeah. Right?
I've really prioritized like family time and like travel and stuff like that, because to me, the kids are young only one time.
Yeah.
And what's been working so far is I just focus on one or two big lever points. What's the one or two things that would like move the stuff forward? And that's what I said, like if I just carve out a little bit of time to work on it, maybe a couple times a week, you know, at least once a week, just moving the ball forward on that thing, eventually it's going to get completed and completed well. And then I can look back and be like, okay, yeah, I did that one important thing. Like now we have more leverage, or the system is now done.
100%.
We can move forward, and it's going to be there.
Yep. And I think the managing the part of understanding actually what are the big ones are, right? What more like depending on the business, like it gets more complex, right? Some business like maybe you sit down with the person, it's like, bro, you have like two things. If you move these two things forward the next couple months, you're gonna be in a completely different place. Or you have like 30. Right? So you're gonna need more people to help you to achieve those 30s. And then it's when you really need to understand like, okay, is everything under me? Or okay, can I give the freedom for this and this person to accomplish, right? Not overwhelming them, right? Maybe you do have 30 rocks, but then you can only give 2 or 3 to each person.
That sounds horrible.
Right? It's reality, by the way. So I think you giving like 2 or 3 and letting people really like digest and understanding, and then they can start to stretch too. So maybe the next season, right? The next quarter, they will be able to handle 5. But you don't know until you give like a couple and let them struggle and make sure like they have the support system to get it done, right? And then goes into like weekly meetings, monthly meetings, quarterly meetings. What do you do? Which one of them? Is it too many meetings? It's not enough meetings, right? So it's a lot of that. But as an entrepreneur, the one thing I think nobody tells you is like how many meetings you're gonna have. Feels like the life is just being around meetings, you know. But it's so important to understanding, depending where you at or what role you play in the company, people need guidance. People need to be reminded of what the mission is, what the vision is, right? If not, we say in Portuguese, like we need somebody on the drum, just hitting, right? On the drum for people like continue on the pace, right? And
you can't just like paint the vision one time and expect people to grab it. It's gonna take at least 7 times, I think, is like the scientific thing.
But not just that, like I
you
think
gotta
like
continuously touch on it.
But also like every couple months you see people like start forgetting it. I think they get too busy like on that thing they're doing it, and then like what about the whole vision? Like we have this whole thing. Are you thinking about that part? Like, a lot of people they just like get lost on the.
It's also not theirs.
It's also not theirs.
So
but that's where like our job is to like legit sell the vision. If you don't buy the vision, this is not the place for you. Right? So you can find a good place where your vision aligns with somebody else's.
That is extremely important when bringing on people. Because, that they can be talented, skillful, have all that stuff. But if you're not on the same page, it's never going to work out.
Forget about it.
Well, this is awesome, man. Appreciate the time and the interview. Before we go though, one last question I always ask people. So being in Hawaii, you came from Brazil, but you live here now. We have very unique challenges as business owners out here. We're on an island. So what is like one piece of advice that you would give to a Hawaii business owner?
I believe like finding the right people for you to work with, it's very important, right? Like guys like you guys, right? The understanding how the bank works in Hawaii, that's very different than the mainland, right? But a lot of entrepreneurs, like if you don't get that part, if you don't understand that you do need the extra help, you do need the third party to come in that knows more than you do in a specific part of the business, can be painful of the time, you know, then you're trying to figure out yourself or taking the wrong path, right? So I think like one of the unique parts in Hawaii can be like who you're dealing with, what companies also being part of the pool of companies that you work. The network in Hawaii is super important. I think like one thing is learn very early here is like don't burn any bridges, right? The thing is like super important. And really respect the culture, like try your best in any business that you are to impact the islands in the right way, you know? So it's so many like little things that we can do to improve if the people that lives here or the island itself, the island, the ocean, it's like, it's such a small ecosystem, right? Coconut wire like goes crazy ways here. It's very impressive. So it goes in a good way and the bad way too. But I think like when you have the power as an entrepreneur, the owner of the business, to create opportunities for people to help, to people to make a difference in different areas here, you have a larger voice, you have a larger audience. Why not doing it? Right? Sometimes we get too busy and just like looking to the business, looking like the bills I have to pay, things I have to do, and all that. But we forget like it really is about the community. It really is about the people that are doing with us and the people that we're impacting with whatever we're doing it. Right? Sometimes we feel like, hey, maybe I don't have time, but that's when like the other companies come around, right? Or like people coming from the outside, and so many like non-profits here that makes like a huge difference. Why not partner up and do something to help on that sense, right? I think we're all here to help. It's not just because we're in the island, but more important because we're in a small community. We are in the island, right? So I think we have to be more careful and also more impactful, right? I think you go a long ways.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, man.
Shoots, man. No worries. Thank you.